Hello everyone, it is Sunday and it's Angela here. Warm welcome to my channel, old and new. I hope that you guys are all having a great time and managed to forage out a little crafting time for yourself this weekend. Well, it's Sunday, so I've got a little video for you. It's not going to be too long, I hope. I always say that, but then it ends up being longer than I imagined. But I'm going to try something quite different today. So I'm going to talk to you very quickly about what you need to have. First thing I've grabbed is my lacy cream background papers. I'll put the links in the description box below. This piece is 7 1/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. Alternatively, if you work in centimeters, that's 18.5 centimeters by 12. All right, so you need a piece of paper, just one. I've grabbed a piece of fabric. This is a square. This is 6 1/2 inches by 6 1/2. So a scrappy piece, and in centimeters that's 16.5 centimeters by 16.5, and I think I'm going to use it in that position. So you need those two. The other thing you need is, this is quite exciting, a zip. Now this is not a specific size. I've cut this one. It's one that you get on quite a long yardage and you cut it to size, and it comes with these things separately. You might have an old zip, one that you can do that with. You can pick it out of a piece of clothing you no longer use or is headed for, you know, can't be recycled in any way, for repurposed for someone else. This one is the length of my fabric, so we are looking at 6 1/2 inches or 16.5 centimeters, there or thereabouts, like that. We're going to put that in there. So I don't know how your zip putting in skills are. I'll give you some top pointers. I've grabbed one of my little tabs that we made before from these. I'm going to use one of these just as a decorative piece, but you can make that up. If you're not sure, you can go and look in the playlist. I have put these in there. I've grabbed myself just a little word that I've stamped with my stamps on a piece of scrappy paper. It's like tea stand, and I've fussy cut out a bee. I'm using a nasturtium, which comes from my floral fussy cuts. So I've cut that out, and I've got 3 die cuts in a light soft lemon, an apricot and a green. These two are from the wildflower dies, and this is from the artsy stems. So that's what I'm using there. And then I'm going to be putting in this project, which is a mini trifold I made before, ever so cute. I'm going to use this to put into my finished project, and I have just taken one of my tags, put on a sentiment and a little bit of a die cut. I've backed that onto card. This is recycled packaging that I like to use at the back there, and just stitched around it. Right, so that pretty much is all you need, as well as a pair of scissors, a ruler, probably a needle and thread, and some glue. All right, so we're going to stick this onto a page, and I haven't tried this yet, so fingers crossed this is all going to work. I've worked it through my head, and that's about it. All right, so let's have a go. Right, this piece of paper, first of all, is going to go into one of my journal pages. I have put the journal here just to show you. Now, if you've got a US letter size, you might want to change the 6 3/4 to 6 1/2 inches, but really it's going to fit over there like that. I've got about 3/4 of an inch gap around it. So I'm going to make everything on here, and then ultimately I'm going to put that into the book like that. So I'm putting it into the signature here. All right, so it's the lacy page at the back. Right, so I'm going to just put that to the side. Now with this fabric here, we'll leave those two. This is the bits that we need to focus on now for the moment. Now I want to put this zip in here and make a little pocket. So what I have thought is, I've got the fabric, as I said, is 6 1/2. I said, yeah, 6 1/2 inches, and this is 4 3/4. Now really it's taking the length of the piece of paper here and allowing, what is the difference here? I've got quite a big extra piece, 1.5 inches, just to, because I'm going to cut this and we need to make seams allowances, so that's why I've done that. All right, so what I want to do is find exactly where it is that I want to cut this. And I should have brought up my rotary cutter, which I have got downstairs, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to just draw a line and do it like you guys would probably have to do it if you don't have a rotary cutter. Now I'm going to try and put the pocket over here, but bearing in mind, if that's where I want it, I've got to remember that 3/4 of an inch is the selvage. So I'm going to have to move that over to have it there, if that makes sense. So I am going to say, right, 1.5 is where I want it to be, and I'm going to have to end up cutting it. So let's just make some pencil marks here. Right, so 1.5, that's where I want my zip to go. So I'm going to add on 3/4 of an inch, so 2.25 I am going to rub out, draw a line here. All right, so let's just use the board. I'm going to cut it. Where's the other mark? There it is. Oh, what am I like? Gosh, I'm feeling quite lazy today, people. I must tell you, I have been procrastinating all morning to get my video done, and I have tried to be more productive and try and get it done the day before, but things have caught up with me now, and here I'm sitting, and it's past lunchtime already, and I haven't done much. Right, so we've got our little piece cut. Now all it means is you want to fold this back. In theory, it's 3/4 of an inch, but in practice, you know, anything's possible. Now, before I do anything, I'm going to just size where exactly I want this fabric to go. So I'm just gauging it. Really, I want it to be even here, and I'm going to do my little trick of just using my pencil to mark that, so that when it comes to the bit of placing it, that I know where it's going to be. Now it's pencil, so it rubs out if we have to. The first thing you want to do is, we've got these two pieces here. We've drawn these lines around just to position that. Now I want to join these two together, so just make sure you have matched it up here. Put these two together like this, and that's not too hard. Measure your 3/4 of an inch, which is your seam allowance. So it's about here. Join that up. I'm just drawing a line because if you're not great at sewing, you want to make sure that you go straight. All right. Now I'm going to be sewing along that line. You can do this by hand. You can do it by machine. If you're going to do it by machine, now put the pins in this way if you're doing it by machine, because if your needle goes over that, it's not going to break the needle in the sewing machine. Right, so you just want to keep these two together. So I'm just putting a couple of pins in. You can use those little goodies as well, just to hold it together. All right, now if you're going to use your sewing machine, you want to do a wider stitch. So I'm going to put it on the longest stitch that I have, straight stitch, just so that it's like a tacking of these two together. All right, let me go do that and I will be back. Okay, so I've stitched that along there. You can see the stitches are quite long, so they'll be easy to remove when I want to. Now what you want to do is just open up this piece. Now if you don't have a sewing machine, you can just take a needle and thread, a normal needle and normal cotton, and just do some tacking stitches all the way down the side there like that. All right, so all backward stitches. We are going to pull out most of this. All right, so not a crisis, it can be done. Now open up your seam so it's lying flat, so not to the side like that. Make sure that you open them up like that, and then flatten it. If you've got the iron, do it. If you've got long nails, that's all you need to do. Look at that. Right, so we're going to then have this like this. If you find that your fabric is maybe a bit long on the one side and you want it more in, You can just cut it, or I just tore it. I've torn all around, so I've got that rustic look. All right, now the tricky bit. Got my zip, and what I want to do is I want to put the zip in. Now you want to get the middle of the zip in the middle of the seam there. All right, so when you put that down, just make sure that you run the middle and match it up with the middle there. All right, so we do that there. Now with me, I'm going to use my pins, and I'm going to just pin it in here. And if you're feeling that you're not confident and you've never done this before, you can also go and put a tacking stitch or a running stitch with cotton and sew along both sides. I'm not going to do that, but it is what you would do if you're not confident. Now, just to make sure I have got it, the middle bit there, in the middle there, I'm just checking as I go, and I'm just pinning it here like that. All right, and the same here. Now it'll become tricky when you're stitching with this, so you usually get a different foot, but I'm not doing a seamstress job here. You get a zipper foot that's narrower to go around that bit, but we're not making a bridal gown or an evening dress. We're making a pocket in a junk journal, so I'm showing you the basics here. That one needs to go there, and then of course I don't want to pull it too high because it'll go right off the end, and I don't want that. All right, so I'm going to leave it there and gauge this the best that I can. So let's just do this like this. This is probably the trickiest bit, sewing over where the sort of pull is. And then you want to just check that on the other side as well. Okay, pin all on the same side, so when you're sewing, it's easy for you. My pins are bent. I was doing alterations on my daughter's cargo trousers, and her answer is, if she can't get the size that the size she wears, just buy a bigger one. Mum will alter it. And so I had to, as you do, because she really wanted them. So that was the answer I got. The things we do for our kids, honestly. Right, so I've got that all where I want it pretty much. Might be a bit dodge at the top here, but as I said, I'm not going for precision. If I was, I'd get the zipper foot out, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so we've got that pinned in place. Now brace yourself, because what you want to do is you want to start at the top here, and we want to try and get this sewn in. So now, because I've got this bit here, I'm going to try my best to not do it that close. I'm going to move it over a little bit. So let me give you a measurement, because I've got a chunky zip, you see. Probably about 1/4 of an inch, a little over 1/4 of an inch away. I'm going to sew that down, and I'm going to sew it like this. Now, if you don't have a machine, you can just do a back stitch. So that's doing a stitch, doing another stitch, and then back stitch and come out, and back stitch and come out. You can do it by hand. We aren't making a garment, as I say. And then we're going to run that all the way down, and I'm going to stop about 1/2 inch from the bottom with my needle in. I'm going to go straight across there and probably go over there because there's no end. Then I'm going to sew all the way up to the top again. All right, and again 1/2 inch from the top, I'm going to try and close off there. Let me go and do that quickly. Probably easier to do it by hand, quite honestly. Right, I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so I have managed to sew around there. I started off doing the stitches too big, but it doesn't matter. I subsequently went over it again when I got to the top there. And the way I got around not finding the zipper foot was I just moved this up and down as I had sewn past a certain point, and then I just slid the the zipper pull thing as I was going, and that's done a pretty neatish job, so I'm quite happy with that. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to turn that over, and you can see it's not too bad, so don't beat yourself up if things aren't perfect, because as I said, this is just something for a junk journal, and that was just a crash course on how to sew a zip into a piece of fabric, really. Maybe you'll with a bit of practice and a zipper foot, it's easier. All right, so I'm just taking, well, got my little embroidery scissors here. Now what we want to do is we want to cut where just below our stitch line there and there. We want to cut the stitches in the middle here. So you want to do this with your glasses on. And you want to do it carefully and not cut the, if you've got a quick unpick, even better. I can't seem to find anything today in the sewing department, but if you just pull this over your finger, and before you even get to it, the stitches just should snap anyway. Just do it slowly, and there you go. All right, and then it's just a case of pulling out the odd threads here and there. So obviously some of them are connected, and then that's great, but I'm not going to faff with it too much now. I can always do that afterwards. All right, so we've got our little opening there for the zip. How cute is that? And that's going to be a nice little hidey pocket for our journal. And you know, I'm just I love the idea of putting a sewing element into this that I hadn't seen before in a journal. Right, so now we've got our little thing like that. How cute is that? We've done a hidden zip. It's like we're on sewing bee. So when we open that up, we're going to have a nice opening to put our little goodie in. All right, so and I quite like having that out, and I might think about putting a charm on there at some point, so you never know. I want to now attach that to the piece of paper, so that's easily done. And the way I'm going to do that is you can use your clips. I am going to stitch this on here. You can use these clips just to get it in place if you like, but they're just a little bit too short in places, so I thought I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put little dots of it just to keep it in place, so not too much, because I will be stitching over this. This is just to put it where I want it. And remember, we did put the little markings on our piece of paper, so gosh. Right, so pick that up. I got that how I wanted. There's my first marking at the bottom, and there's the one on the side, so I know it's got to be that high, so that's a great start. And then we'll just get that stuck down the best that we can. All right, it's just on those little spots, just to give us some, you can't really pin on paper. You can use the clips, but like I say, on this side they're too short, this side and that they would work. All right, so I'm just moving this how I want it, and the little spots of glue perfect for this. Right, so it's not exactly even there, but I'll live with that. We're not making a Gucci, you know. So let me go and do that. I think I might do I want to do a little zigzag there? Let's try a little zigzag. I don't often use zigzag. Right, I'm just going to do some zigzag. This would look beautiful if you don't have a sewing machine, guys, and you've got time. Slow stitching with embroidery thread across there would look beautiful. All right, I'm just trying to do a quick and easier option here. But if I had time, I probably would look at doing that. I just want to rub out the pencil mark that I've just noticed at the top there. So if you're seeing any of the pencil marks, rub those out before you stitch, just so it's easier. Right, okay, so I have just zigzagged around there. I started here because that's where I'm going to cover there. So that's all right. And I'm loving how that's come together. So we've now got a little pocket there. It looks like a little pencil case, but it's a nice spot. And this is where ultimately I want to hide this in there. So that's what I'm going to put in there. So I really like that. Now I thought with this, I'm not going to put a charm on. I've got this nice soft and thin piece of ribbon. I'm going to put that in here just as a bit of a decoration. So I've just halved it and threaded the loop through, and you can cut that any length you want. So that's that. And then I want to just decorate this a bit before I stick it into the book. So this is where I'm going to use these 3 bits here, this bit here, and these bits here. So let's get to it. Right, I'm going to start with these die cuts. Now, if you guys don't have die cuts, you can use, you know, images from magazines or books, old books, anywhere that you want, that you can find them. I do sell fussy cut flowers like this nasturtium here, on sheets that you can fussy cut out. I do love using them with these die cuts. If you're looking to buy die cuts, then Hilda, who's my admin lady in my Facebook group, she does have a Instagram page called paper.fun422, so you can see all Hilda's die cuts. I've just got my latest order in because for me I found that it's time saving, and I get numb hands, so I don't always feel up to doing it, and it's a time saver for me because I have so many projects that I do. So it's nice to get some cut out. Hilda does beautiful colors, all the papers that I like to use, all the colors. She does brighter colors if you don't want pastels. She's got her own selections as well, and she sends it all over the world. So there you go. Yeah, and I do love these. Let's move this one a little bit higher, I think. Now I'm just putting this on here, not too much glue. You don't want it to seep through and stick your fabric onto the paper, which it's not. This fabric is vintage Sanderson fabric, and it's nice, sort of, what do you call it, soft finishing fabric. So it's a bit of like a the kind of thing you would put on upholstery, really. One more to go on here. I'm so excited about the fabric that I've been offering, and you guys have really given me such wonderful feedback. Thank you so much. I will say a tip that lovely Vanessa mentioned to me, one of my lovely ladies. She said, and it's quite rightly so, don't go and wash any cotton fabric you receive. You know, if you want it to stay the same size, just be mindful of that because it's cut to fit your journal cover. So it doesn't require any washing, but it would probably shrink as cotton does. So just be mindful of that. Right, I'm going to stick on my little nasturtium here. And talking about the fabric and the video I showed you on Friday with the notebook, the new Floral Folly notebook pages, when I was putting this on here, I thought to myself, you know, wouldn't that look lovely to put 1 or 2 pages into the wildflower journal, because look how beautiful the nasturtium page would look, and also because it's thinner, it's going to give beautiful layers. So I might add a couple of 1 or 2 pages. This is Blossom. Let me just get out my little Fabri-Tac bottle here quickly. I want to stick down the fabricy bit. So I'll just put that to the side. I'm going to stick on this tab. I like this one with the yellows. Oops. Right, so we'll get this one done. It's getting cooler here, and I must say that the beautiful tree in my garden, which has been there for over, I think, 30 years, it's a beautiful huge tree, with lovely burgundy leaves. I don't know what it's called, but I love it, and it changes with every season, and I absolutely adore it. Now it's losing its leaves big time, so it tells me that autumn is on its way. And yes, I do have an autumn kit coming. It will be available in September. I'm still busy working on it, but it's almost done. And I love how it's come together. So I'm going to just put that there. Blossom. Blossom. And then this little bee. These are horrible to cut out, but you know, all the legs, but I do like them. And then we'll put this one. I think we're going to we'll put him heading towards the nasturtium. How's that? Because the nectar in nasturtiums even is great for humans. I loved it as a child, as I've told you before. Right. Dun, 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 dun. The moment of truth. Right. As I said, I'm just going to see if I can get the page here. Here we go. Now, I could have put it on that side, but I'm putting it on this side. Right, so we want to get that down here, and I also want to move it slightly down because I'm going to put a tag out there. And I think, yeah, a little bit down, just so that I've got a pocket at the very top. You don't have to do this, but you know, I like to have multiple pockets. And so I might trim that down a bit. Let me grab my little guillotine. Okay, so this is just my Tim Holtz Decor edged guillotine, and I don't want to chop the ribbon off. I'll just move that out the way, get that underneath there. You can use a tear ruler. You don't have to use this. This is just something I have. You can use those scissors for crafting as well. So, and it's taken a piece off that I didn't really want it to take off, you see, and that's because, there we go, that's better. Not the greatest, is it? Right, that's the one. Right, so that's just given me, sort of balances it off with the bottom, and then I'm going to just take my oxide here and do that. Right, so I'm happier. Turn that corner right. Okay, so we're going to just stick this on here like that, and I can make it lower now, so I'm happier with that. So let's get that stuck on, and we will also be cutting these all these distractions. I'm sorry, I'm distracted today, I don't know why. So we'll just cut that off. Okay, right, so we don't want glue up there, so we want to get the glue on the side there. Try and not get that on my fingers, get it low. Okay, there we go. So we want to just run that like that, and along the bottom and the top. Oops, there's a little bit come out there. And then, oh, I forgot about the daisy. So the daisy, we'll just get some stuck on there. All right, so we've just about done with that then. Okay, I'm loving that. Right, how cute is that? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that with a zip. Right, I'm loving how that goes. So now while we're waiting for that just to dry off a little bit, and doesn't it look lovely with a fussy cut flower and the the die cuts. Right, so I'm going to put that in. That's the tag I've made, and just added that piece there, and that's a little die cut somebody gave me. Actually, I think it was Teresa. Thank you, Teresa. I've loved using all those you sent me. Right, so that's there. Now this is the little mini trifold one that you've seen before. I'll just show you ever so quickly. We made this one day, and it's got a little tags coming out here and all of that. So those links are in the wildflower journal link, so the playlist. So go and have a look there. And then the tabs as well, these, I've also got that in there. So we've got everything ready, and now we can just put this into our little secret spot. So you got to love a secret spot. Okay, right, not gonna faff. I'm not gonna faff. Right, so we've got our little pocket in here. Ooh, I'm so excited. So this can go in. Nobody will see what you write. You must think I'm like, you know, MI5 with all the secrets I like, or hardy spaces I like to have. Oh my gosh. So get that in there. It's like it never was. Look at that. Like it never was. And then we can just take this tag and slide it in the pocket. I'll put 2 ribbons in there. And there we go. Right. I hope that wasn't too long. But I hope you're going to have fun with this, because, you know, we must just bring in the sewing elements into the junk journal. We like to stitch, so why not add a few more? I'll have a little think about what else I can add. And you let me know as well. All right, everyone. I wish you a wonderful Sunday. It's going to be a lovely, cool and relaxing day. There's not much noise going on here, so I'm very grateful. And I see the grass is getting a little greener, so we've had a bit of rain. Stay safe, stay warm if you need to, if you're in the southern hemisphere, and I hope that it's not too hot for you in the northern hemisphere. I'm going to see you again on Tuesday with another little video, probably coming to the end of that last journal. I want to get started on our new one, so we will most definitely do so. If you haven't picked up your fabric, I still have a few bits left of it in my website shop, so you can go and do that. I have covered my cover in this already, as I showed you, and gosh, doesn't it look lovely with the tassel? I've got it here. So I've got my cover done, and when I put the tassel on it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to look fantastic. So it's really coming along beautifully. All right, so go and get your last few pieces. Once that's gone, I don't know if I'm going to put in another order, because it's quite costly every time. You've got to have a certain meterage, so go and grab it while it's there. I will be putting other ones in, of course, so look out for that. All right, go and have a wonderful, relaxing Sunday. If you're having a Sunday dinner, delicious. I'm not today, and I miss that, but I will stop talking now and see you on Tuesday. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.